What's up, people? It's your boy sportinwithkb back with another video. This time I'm doing waiver wire week 4 on Tuesday. And let me tell you why I'm doing it on Tuesday, people, because I want you guys to fill out the claims before they're wide open. Before you can press add and everybody on the list is gone, put in a claim right now, so that you won't have that to worry about. You'll wake up to one of the guys that I'm about to mention. So with that being said, let me get to one of the guys that I'm about to mention. Daniel Jones, after going for 336 yards passing and 2 touchdowns and 2 other rushing touchdowns, he's now the hottest waiver wire ad of all time almost. In fact, he may have gone. He may have been gone last week, honestly. I mean, I don't think there's any way that anybody still has Daniel Jones on the waiver wires, unless, you know, you guys' this league have quarterbacks that are just stacked. A lot of quarterbacks haven't been doing well. You know, Cam Newton, Matthew Stafford, he's on and off. You know, if you got Phillip Rivers as your starter, you might want to get another one of these rookies, you know what I'm saying? So Daniel Jones is probably already gone, and that's why I got another quarterback for you guys, and that is Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen is another option because he passed for 261 yards and he also got 4 touchdowns. Cam is expected to be out longer than originally thought. A Lisfranc injury is a lot worse than a grade 1 ankle sprain. And considering that Allen was looking like he was, passing it like he was, and getting the ball out to the targets that the Panthers had and that we might have picked up, you know, DJ Moore is fantasy relevant again. Curtis Samuel might be fantasy relevant again. Greg Olsen is fantasy relevant again. Christian McCaffrey, you know, he's just all about volume. It didn't really matter who the quarterback was. So Kyle Allen is definitely somebody you want to pick up in case, you know, you had Cam, or in case, you know, you had some of the other quarterbacks I mentioned already. So, you know, Daniel Jones is most likely gone. You know, just get over it and get somebody else. Get Kyle Allen. Get Kyle Allen. He's another option, you know. He might be a guy that starts the rest of the season. Cam might be out for, you know, maybe 6 to 8 weeks. He might need surgery. You don't know. So to be safe, I get Kyle Allen. So the next set of pickups or waiver wire targets, I'm going to go with Wayne Gallman and Rex Burkhead. To start it off with Wayne Gallman, I see a lot of analysts and, you know, on ESPN saying, you know, not really a lot of good things about Wayne Gallman. They say like he's just a guy. He's almost Jamal Williams-esque. Basically, he doesn't do anything, you know, great. He's just a good, you know, he's a good running back. But for me, I had Wayne Gallman in 2017. Wayne Gallman had he averaged 4 yards a carry when he got the ball, and he also amassed 34 receptions out of the backfield. Now, you know, Daniel Jones is going to be who Daniel Jones is, and Daniel Jones also has a really tough schedule coming up soon. After he plays the Redskins, you know, they have New England and they have Minnesota. So with that being said, Wayne Gallman might become a lot more viable than everybody is thinking, because Daniel Jones is not going to play, you know, with his head cut off. I mean, he's not going to play his head off like he did last week. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's not going to be guaranteed that the guy gets 4 touchdowns and almost 400 yards every week. He's going to have to lean on the running game. And with Barkley being out 4 to 8 weeks, you know, he becomes a viable option. If, you know, your running back depth is failing, if one of your guys is not doing what you think he was going to do, and if bye week as well. Wayne Gallman is playing the Redskins, and Redskins allowed Mitchell Trubisky to get 3 touchdowns. So you never know. Due to matchups, Wayne Gallman might be more viable than, like I said, everybody thinks. So, I mean, it's an option. You can go with him or not. But the second option is Rex Burkhead. He's available on 22% of rosters on ESPN Fantasy Football app. He averages 13.3 points a game, and he's a solid option in PPR formats, being in an offense that throws to running backs more than any other team. So, I understand that Patriots don't really produce a lot of fantasy relevant guys, considering that they spread the ball around. They have like 3 running backs that they choose. Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, and James White. But considering that Rex Burkhead has been averaging 13.3 points a game, that means something. And I'm not saying that he's going to be an everyday starter, that you're going to keep him in the lineup. But, bye weeks are going to come up, and sometimes the running backs that you picked up are not always going to be great. They're not going to always have the best matchup. And considering that the Patriots are usually the team that beats the other team, I mean, Rex Burkhead is on a winning team. He's on a team that passes all the time to the running backs. And, it'll be some weeks to where James White is going to take some of the shine away from him. But as far as, like, Sony Michel, he's not going to take any of the receptions away from him because Sony Michel barely ever catches the ball. So, with that being said, Rex Burkhead is definitely an option. If you run kind of like desperate for running backs, he's an option. Not necessarily a starter all week, but, he's an option. As far as receivers go, we got MVS, a.k.a. Marcus Valdez-Scantling, and we have Phillip Dorsett. MVS got 6 receptions for 99 yards, and that's off 10 targets. He has taken the number 2 job away from Geronimo Allison. And I actually had Geronimo Allison available, and I had MVS available, but I didn't get neither one of them because I didn't know who was going to be the number 2 receiver. So now MVS is the guy. And there is no question, MVS is the guy. He has 21 targets compared to Allison's 7 targets. Davante Adams haven't looked like Davante Adams that we all know and love and that you guys are expecting him to be. I didn't pick up Davante Adams because, I had the opportunity to get DeAndre Hopkins. He also hasn't had an amazing game like that. So, it's safe right now to go with these guys as number 2 receivers because sometimes they are taking away, teams are taking them away of the game plan. You see, sometimes they'll be double covered. They'll have bracket coverage with a safety coming over to help the corner out. They're running cover 2. And, it's just like, you have to make sure that you have a number 1 wide receiver, but you have to make sure too that the number 2 might be as good as the number 1 receiver because he doesn't take the number 1 cornerback all the time. He might take the guy that is lesser talented than the number 1 at all times. So given that Davante Adams isn't doing as well as we all thought he would be, MVS becomes a weapon on that offense. He becomes sort of like, a 1B instead of, a 1A that Davante Adams is. So I definitely would look at him and pick him up, and we'll see exactly what his targets are in the coming weeks. Last week he had 10. So definitely a guy that you might want to pick up. Phillip Dorsett is also another guy you want to pick up. He averages 16.7 points a game, and he is available in 11.5. He's only been rostered 11.5% of the teams in ESPN fantasy football. So far, he has 3 touchdowns in the season. Now, I know that what you're saying again, that, oh, that's another Patriot, and we know how they operate. Exactly, we know how they operate. Sometimes they just go with somebody else, and you know, the guy that you're starting ends up not getting any touches, ends up not getting any receptions or touchdowns because of how the Patriots play. They spread the ball around. Everybody really eats, and sometimes that hurts because, you know, you're expecting a guy to do something. You're expecting a guy to show up to be number 1, wide receiver 1, or a flex option, and then he's not because, you know, like I said, the Patriots, they spread the ball around more than any team that I've seen. So, with that being said, you know, Phillip Dorsett, he looks like he has carved out a role in that Patriots offense. You know, more times than not, he's had a touchdown. He had 2 in the first week, none in the second, and then last week he had 1. And, you know, I know that Tom Brady's favorite options is Edelman, and he throws to the running backs all the time. But Phillip Dorsett has also been the guy that he looked at. With AB not being on that team anymore, it's basically Dorsett's job to lose as far as the targets go. And, you know, it's just how the Patriots play. You know, it's kind of hard to trust so many Patriots players. But Rex Burkhead is probably not as safe as Phillip Dorsett, considering that Phillip Dorsett has had touchdowns and he has been targeted at least 6 times a game. You know, he's probably one of the safe options. So I'll pick Phillip Dorsett probably over Rex Burkhead. So with that being said, we have the others section. We got Deontay Johnson. We got Will Dillsley from the Seahawks. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Forgive me if I'm not. We got the Panthers defense. We got Teddy Bridgewater, apparently. And we got Chris Herndon. He's coming off of suspension. And, you know, word on the street is that he was a good guy. He was a really good vertical threat for Sam Darnold when Sam Darnold wasn't hurt, you know. And he played last year. And also, you got Golden Tate, who's also coming off of injury. Not injury, but you got Golden Tate who's coming off suspension as well. And we already seen Daniel Jones doing his thing. So, you know, I gave you guys a lot of options. And I did it on Tuesday. So you guys will be able to pick up and claim guys that are available before Wednesday, before everybody is running like Black Friday sale, getting all of the options that's available, all of the guys that's on sale apparently. So with that being said, this is my waiver wire targets or waiver wire sleepers on a Tuesday. So like and subscribe for more content, and I'll be back. Good luck to you guys. All right.